Yo guys, what's going on? Apologies for my microphone sound. I know it sounds a little tinny. I cannot get it to work. It will not pick up through the mixer I use. I'm not sure exactly what's happening, but I am getting a new mic. I'll probably have it by next week, so bear with me for a couple more days. If anybody knows anything about audio and you want to send me a DM on Discord, I have a couple of microphones in mind, and maybe you could shoot me some insight to them, because really I'm kind of new to all this, even though it's been 2 years. But let's get into this next video here. We already did the rock team perk, which is absolutely fantastic, but I want to go over the assault rifle next, because personally I think it's one of the better assault rifles in the game for a different reason. Similar to Paleo Luna, how she's so good because she brings so much survivability to the game, this weapon brings a lot of crowd control. Now, this entire weapon set all have a unique 6th perk, which is eliminating an enemy with this weapon causes nearby enemies to dance for a short duration. Does not affect enemies that have recently been dancing. Dance does not affect miss monsters or bosses. Now, there are a few different variations of this team perk. One of them is the elimination, another one is stun or impact, and the other one is, I think it's 3 or 6 hits to cause that enemy and the enemies around them to dance. The only one that is worthwhile and the one you're looking for on your weapons is the eliminating. Number 1. The 6-hit one. Nothing in this game will survive 6 hits unless it's a smasher or we're talking end game level 300 endurance mobs. Nothing will survive 6 hits. If it worked on smashers, then I would say that's fine. And unlike the Tree of Light, it does not keep that 6th hit stored. So with the Tree of Light, you could hit something 4 times, switch targets, and then the next 2 times, the 6th hit will cause it to start dancing, or to get stunned with the Tree of Light. In this case, at least from what I've tested, it does not happen like that, sadly. The other one, stun and impact, you'd really only want that on the sniper rifle, and even then, it's just, in my opinion, not worth it. The sniper rifle hits like a truck, and you're most likely going to kill anything besides stunning it. So eliminating is what you're looking for, in my opinion. Now let's take a look at the actual weapon rolls here. We have 17,000 damage, 25,000 headshot, so a decent headshot modifier. Critical hit chance base at 38, 185 with these rolls. Fire rate is 4.5, but it feels a little faster than that. Magazine size is only a 24, and I do have a reload speed on mine. That's because it provides crowd control, and we'll talk about that more in a minute. The range is average or a little slightly above average at 4,096. The reload time with a reload perk on it is a very manageable 1.7, and the impact is pretty high for an assault rifle. So what does this thing do? Why is it unique? Well, it's the only other gun besides one in the game, the Ranger, that is a double shot weapon, or it shoots 2 bullets at a time. The cone on the weapon, the reticle, is very weird. It's like the Hydra or the old helium shotgun, or the, what's the other one called? The rat rod one. Anyways, it's a larger reticle, and it shoots in a vertical line. So 1 bullet's on top, 1 bullet's on bottom. And the damage it provides is not bad. Both bullets combine to hit on a crit in a full party or so around 120,000 damage per shot. At 4 shots a second, 4.5 shots a second, you're looking at 400k. But that's not the real reason you're using this. With a roll of crit rating, crit damage, reload speed, and 60% extra damage to dancing enemies, that is the big thing here, is the dancing enemy. So as long as they're dancing, you're doing an extra 60% damage, plus about the build we're going to talk about is kind of nuts. But the crowd control is what we have to talk about. Everybody knows that Sledgehammer just became probably the 3rd best character in the entire game, and with that being said, assault rifles are very, very popular. So this one is definitely useful. It's good to have in a clutch. Enemies attacking your base, no problem. Shoot one, they all start to dance, allowing you a lot of breathing time and room to maneuver. Maybe throw down a healing pad, repair your tunnel, or anything in between. All of it works really, really well together for crowd control. In fact, that you might replace Zenith in Endurance runs once Endurance actually gets fixed with assault weapon soldiers now. If you bring a sledgehammer in and you have all the enemies dance, it's similar to having them being frozen, not exactly the same, but at least they aren't attacking you, the structures, or the walls. It actually has a ton of viability and playability into the game itself, as crowd control is very rare in this game. They nerf it all the time. Remember the decoy spam for Horde Bash back in the day? Now we have Zenith that can do it, but that's really it. Crowd control is very, very rare, and having a gun to be able to proc it so easily, because technically all you have to do is shoot a mini husk once. If you're at level 174, shooting a small husk or a tiny husk one time with this weapon will guarantee to kill it and make everything else dance next to it. Like I said, allowing you a lot of breathing time. So let's take a look at some of the builds I ran with this, including some of the new support perks and one or two of the new team perk clips as well. We'll throw it all together and figure out the best build that you may want to try with this weapon. We're going to do this part a little bit differently. We're going to check out the build right now, or at least one that I had some success with, and I'm going to show it live and maybe talk about it live instead of just showing you clips. Feel like maybe that will be a little more interactive and you guys will enjoy it more. So we're going to be playing TAS, Tactical Assault Sledgehammer. As you know, one of the best heroes, just got a huge buff with being able to use SMGs as well. We're going to be using Totally Rocking Out, the new team perk that you can get. What this does is Rockin' Riff. Rockin' Riff is a support team perk that you will get throughout the llamas, and each one of them does the same thing but activated a different way. In this case, we're bringing Battle Beat and Fumble, but Totally Rocking Out increases crit rating by 160, decaying over 8 seconds, and heals 73.75 base health. This is the second best perk in the game. I said it before, I'll say it again. Blast from the Past, in my opinion, is better for survivability and hence damage, because you'll never die. But in any other instance, if you're just trying to sit back and do damage, Totally Rocking Out is well worth it. We're going to bring Assault Damage, so now we are at a 17% extra damage. Battle Beat, which is one of the Rockin' Riff, one of the ways to get it going, and this is, in my opinion, the best one. Eliminating 10 enemies in 9 seconds grants Rockin' Riff, increases damage by 50% and melee attack speed by 32. Now, the melee attack speed isn't good here, and in fact you might actually get more benefit running it on a ninja, but using it in this build is completely fine. This works on trap kills, so as long as you put up a couple of gas traps near the spawn, you will constantly have this refreshing, increasing your entire damage output by 17 plus 50, so we're at 67%. This adds another 25% on top of that. Fumble is just another way to activate your Rockin' Riff. So what happens is you kill an enemy, has a 7% chance to drop a football. You pick up that football and you have the buff for 8 seconds. The last thing we're going to do here is bring Assault Ammo Recovery, or you can bring Light Show if you want to. Survivalist works well here because you have already a huge, almost 100% increase in damage. So you want to keep your startup as going as long as you can. If you bring Light Show without a magazine size on your weapon, you will have 31 bullets, which is fine for startup, but not really for mad tidings. The only other way you might get more damage out of this build is if you use an LMG and you bring Nutcracker, because Nutcracker's main perk fully stacked up is like 141% extra damage, plus 50, plus 17, plus another 25. That's probably one of the highest DPS builds in the game, but this is one of the best burst builds in the game because your crit damage is so high. If you get lucky, you might be able to burst something faster than you would ever be able to kill it on any other character except maybe Beetlejuice, Paleo Luna, or Whiteout Fiona with weapons that are built particularly for them. So let's jump into some gameplay. This is the build we're going to run, and let's see how well it performs. So this is our loadout right here. We have the Beat Blaster, 23,000 damage per shot. We are also using the Ear Splitter for reasons that we'll talk about in a minute, but it can buff you for an extra 40% additive damage, not multiplicative. And then we have a Guardian's Will for some mobility and run speed. So let's check out exactly how this gun shoots. Like I said, it does shoot 2 bullets, but each bullet is counted as 1. As you can see right here, the reticle, as I was talking about, is much wider than it is on other guns. However, it is extremely accurate, but each shot will basically hit the body and then hit the head as well if you are aiming correctly. The bad lag. Let's pull this encampment here. We are in a 124 4-man. Currently I am solo, but people are joining in, but I probably don't have their buffs yet. But we can test out the damage here. Hitting very, very hard. 94k, basically solo is not terrible for what level I'm at. And there it is. That's why this weapon is so good. That dancing effect is the first thing that we can really say counters the shield guys. These are my most hated enemy in the game. It also works on the little shield minions, so if you shoot them, it'll cause the rest of the enemies to dance. Let's see if we can get our Beat Blaster up, our Rock and Riff all the way up, and let's see if we can start really doing some damage here. But this is what is so cool about it, is once the enemies start dancing, they're not hitting you. So you can easily kite the enemies away in front of you. You can put up a wall to take care of the blasters. Anything that comes near you or crosses a wall, here we go. We can pick up a football. You just saw it there. And when you pick up the football, you hear them cheer. And now let's check out the damage now that I have the buff up and running. This is going to be a small bit of an issue because they are in poison clouds, or the gas clouds that stop them from doing damage. As you can see right here, this guy. But you can tell the damage starts to kick in really, really high once you get all these perks running. But these little missions, or these little clouds, are definitely going to make it a little less obvious of how much damage we're actually doing. As you can see, we like 3-shot that blaster right there, causing these small husks to dance. It's such a good perk. It is going to be so underrated. The damage is not really what you're using this for. You're really using it for its CC, but the damage itself is awesome. There's definitely something to it. Oh, if you've been watching my channel for a long time, you know one of the big things when I did a lot of my gun reviews was piercing. Since this game, you build a lot of trap tunnels and funnel a lot of enemies, piercing is one of the strongest things in the entire game. This gun pierces, allowing you to do some incredible damage when shooting down a tunnel. It of course does blow up propane tanks, so you have to be careful there. But you'll see during the defense phase exactly how much damage this gun does and how important and invaluable that dance is. How well this performs. Remember, we have the spear for a bit of a bonus damage. I'm in a party with randoms, which I normally don't do. I usually have people to play with. I just started doing this, just jumped in to check it out. And of course, it's 4 Outlanders. Why wouldn't it be? But we're going to see exactly how well we do this. This is a 149 4-man, so it should be pretty good. One thing this does have that's a bad thing is that it really can't shoot through the shielders guys, or the shielded guys. The way the weapon works, it just doesn't allow it to happen. But as you can see, considering I built every trap tunnel here, we have a decent amount of the aura around us. This entire blue thing is the aura, and it really pumps up our damage, as you'll see in a moment. Like I said, the gun does shoot 2 bullets, and it shoots them in a horizontal or like a vertical line, but it's pretty accurate. It's basically tiny little laser beams, and the bullets go where they're supposed to pretty easily. I'm in a full party, so the damage numbers are buffed in that sense, but we're trying to figure out exactly how well this thing works, right? So I'm waiting for something to come down here, or when the trap rotates, and we have to play a little more, but let's see what kind of damage we can get if we can get this smasher up here. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that damage. There's no gas traps in there, and we pretty much tore them up pretty easily. Here's another one in here. We are fully buffed up. You can see those numbers coming through. Look at that. Look at that damage, man. It's chunking them. If we take a look at our crit chance right now, it's at 69%. And that's because of all the traps doing the eliminations. If we pick up a football, it just refreshes that. What's that? 3 shots to take on that taker right here. This is one of the best builds you can do, you know, one of the best heroes you can play. So of course it's going to perform well, but there's nothing wrong with using this weapon as like your main trash clearing weapon anyway, because again, if you're using a soldier or an outlander, something with limited mobility, having the ability to make things dance and crowd control them is not to be undervalued here. You are trading off a little bit of damage. It's not doing the same amount of damage as, say, like a Wraith or a Bundle Bus build or, you know, something along those lines. But the trade-off for the crowd control, just like the trade-off for survivability with Paleo Luna, in my opinion, is definitely worth it. Considering how rare crowd control is in this game, and they always nerf it, being able to proc it religiously and all the time is pretty dang good. Here, if I walk over it, 69.5%. It looks to be the cap. Maybe 70% with 1 crit rating on your gun, which allows you to maybe do something like a double crit damage or a triple crit damage build. You might want to try that. You might have some success there, but if you do a triple or double crit damage build, I'll tell you right now, because I've tried it, if you do not have this perk activated, your damage will be subpar. In my humble opinion, I think holding off and adding the crit rating just to use it as a regular weapon as well as a specific weapon build is the better way to go. Buff up my teammates one more time and we'll finish off this mission here. Look at that, 279,000 damage fully buffed per shot at 4 shots a second, 3, 6, 9, 10, 1.2 million, give or take, at a 70% crit chance. So maybe more like 900k per second. That's a lot of damage. All right, guys, that is the new assault rifle, the Beat Blaster, on a pretty decent build. That's going to be it for this video. A little longer than I would like, but it's a new approach to the videos. I'm trying to do a couple of new things. If you guys could let me know if you guys like this approach, please let me know. I'll do more of them like this. This was actually easier, and I felt a lot more engaged in the video than giving you all the details post-recording. Let me know. Let me see what you guys want to see next. I think we're going to do the trap, so probably tomorrow that will come out. I really do like this assault rifle. On a scale from perk it to pass it, it's 100% perk it, especially if you don't play that often, and this is the only weapon that you get that can provide this dance crowd control mechanic. Definitely perk it up, keep it in your inventory. It will come in clutch, I promise you. I stream 5 days a week over at twitch.tv/Roundedtiktak. If you guys want to check out the stream, we would love to have you as part of the pack, part of the family. Feel free to stop by and say what's up. If you guys want to support the channel in any way, and maybe I can afford a better microphone, just use creator code OOTiktak when purchasing all your Battle Royale V-Bucks. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Tiktak out.